Good evening. Welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Vishnu Shom. On the program tonight, the Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge says an opposition coalition will unseat the BJP in the 2024 national elections and that the Congress was in talks with every other party to realise it. On the program tonight, a data-based analysis of the index of opposition unity. Can the opposition be united? And is that the recipe to winning the election? Well, as an example, as Mr. Kharge made his remarks in Meghalaya, Rahul Gandhi hit out at Mamata Banerjee. So the question really does need to be asked, how united can the opposition in India actually get? Next up on the program, that's about 1:30, a second attack by a dog on a young child in Hyderabad. This one fortunately was not fatal, but the death of a 5-year-old yesterday has stunned people across the nation. This isn't the media driving rage against dogs, but there is a problem and people continue to be hurt. Is there a humane way around this crisis? And let's use that word, it is a crisis. What about dangerous dogs? Should they not be taken away? That's our second debate on the show this evening. But first, the index of opposition unity in the country. Does it exist? Can Mallikarjun Kharge's comments that the Congress will lead the opposition to victory, does that make sense at all? Here's my colleague Sanket Upadhyay with this reality check.
So Mallikarjun Kharge, the Congress president, says that the Congress is going to lead an alliance into ruling 2024 and the BJP will be reduced in numbers. But let's quickly take a look at the All India map on where the Congress stands vis-a-vis opposition and how fighting fit they are in the 2024 contest. So let's quickly take a look at this map. We are calling this the All India Health Check. Where all does Congress party exist? So you've got Rajasthan, which is 200 assembly seats, where the Congress plus the alliance has 122, the BJP is at 70, their alliance also around 76. Then we move on to Himachal Pradesh, where they've just recently won, where the Congress has 58% of the seats at 40 in the 68-member assembly, and BJP has 25 seats. In Chhattisgarh, the Congress has 71 seats, the BJP on 14 seats, of course, in a 90-member assembly, and Chhattisgarh is going to go to polls in just a short moment. Now, let's quickly tell you the non-Congress, non-BJP states, and this becomes very, very crucial as far as an alliance is concerned because there is no Congress over here. So first, West Bengal, out of 294, you can see the numbers on your screen. The TMC won 213, but the BJP is number 2 at 77. So they have performed better than the Congress party. In Odisha, and we are talking about state assemblies, of course, in the context of Lok Sabha, because there is a correlation, because many of these elections have happened in close proximity to 2024. In Odisha, the BJD has 112, the BJP has 23. In Telangana, you've got the TRS or the BRS with 88 seats. The Congress has 19 seats. The BJP just one as of this moment. However, they feel that they will perform better. In Kerala, 97 for the LDF and 47 for the UDF. In Delhi, 62 for the Aam Aadmi Party, 8 for the BJP, no seat for the Congress party. So you can see that the Congress is not very healthy in order to lead or propel an alliance from these respective states. Same story in Punjab, 92 for the Aam Aadmi Party, 15 for the Congress, the BJP at 2. Of course, these dynamics change completely when you talk about Lok Sabha elections. In Andhra Pradesh, 151 to YSR Congress, no seat for the Congress and the BJP. Let's now quickly tell you the seats where there is a direct Congress-BJP fight. So this is data that we have collated from official sources. 28 such seats in Karnataka, 27 such seats in MP, 25 in Rajasthan, 11 in Chhattisgarh, 4 in Himachal and 5 in Uttarakhand. Out of a total 100 seats, the BJP is present right now in the Lok Sabha on 93 of these 100 seats. So in this direct contest, you can see that the BJP is winning. Now, states where the Congress is part of a formidable alliance, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry, there are 40 seats in all. In Jharkhand, 14, Maharashtra, 48. This is, of course, the Lok Sabha strength from these states, so that you don't confuse them with Vidhan Sabha. In Assam, 14. 6 other northeastern states contribute to 10. Jammu and Kashmir at 6. And of these 172 such seats, the BJP holds, and its allies, they hold 83 seats. So that is how powerful the BJP is in seats where Congress is part of a formidable alliance at a local level. Now let's talk about Uttar Pradesh. because we are, or in fact, let's begin with this political map of India, which will give you an idea of which party stands where. So if you talk about BJP in full majority exists in that dark orange, NDA with more than 50% in a slightly less tone of orange. A slightly yellow is the BJP, which is less than 50%. The Congress full majority states just 2. Then you've got the UPA with the Congress more than 50%, 1, and UPA with the Congress less than 50%, those colors you can see, and then there are others that populate this India map. Let's now quickly talk about various states, because this contest is going to be significant in the states. In Uttar Pradesh, can alliances work? Well, in 2017, a Congress-SP alliance failed. In 2019, a Mayawati-Samajwadi alliance failed. In 2022, an alliance between Akhilesh Yadav and smaller regional parties also failed. It did not work. Let's quickly also tell you how the Congress is faring. So the Congress has been reduced to 2 MLAs in UP in 2022. Sonia Gandhi is the lone Congress MP from Uttar Pradesh for the Congress party. And in the 2022 Vidhan Sabha polls, the Congress vote share from last time, which was around 6%, has been reduced to 2.3%. That's the health of the Congress party. And their alliance was in the biggest state, Uttar Pradesh. In the 2020 state elections, the Congress was reduced to 19 from the 2015 27. And the Congress is also criticized for a very poor strike rate. In 2020, they fought on 70 seats, but won only 19. So their track record is very poor. In West Bengal, the Congress's Sanjukta Morcha alliance with the left also failed. The TMC vote share was 48%. Out of 292 seats, the TMC won 213. Remarkable performance by the TMC. The BJP was a clear number 2 with 38% vote share. In fact, how the Congress is insignificant in West Bengal can be proven from the fact that the TMC's vote share actually increased from 2016. From 45, they've increased to 48. So what difference can a coalition in West Bengal of the Congress party really make? So that is going to be a significant question. In Maharashtra, we know there is a mega split in the Shiv Sena, which is going to hurt the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi. In 2019, the BJP and Shiv Sena together were with 51% vote share in the Lok Sabha. Now, obviously, with this new big faction, the Shinde faction with the BJP, they hope for a repeat. The Congress and NCP vote share was 32%. MIM's vote share was 7.6%. Could this possibly be an advantage to the BJP? And last but not the least, let's talk about Telangana. In Telangana, the BJP is preparing for a grand entry in Telangana. In 2018, 47% vote share for the BRS, 28% for the Congress. The BJP was at 7. Now this is significant because a year later in 2019, in the Lok Sabha, the BRS was at 41, reduced. Congress at 29, 1% increase, but the BJP made the maximum gain at 19.5%. The BRS is practicing its non-Congress, non-BJP formulation, but will the BRS come together with the Congress party to defeat a possible challenger in the BJP?
All right, well, we've got our panel in a little while, but first we've got a very special guest, Prakash Javadekar, Rajya Sabha MP of the BJP, former Union Minister. Thanks, Javadekar Sahab, very much for being with us. Let me first get your reaction to what Mallikarjun Kharge said, and he said the Congress will lead an opposition coalition that will unseat the BJP in 2024, and that the Congress was in talks with every other party. How would you respond?
In democracy and in India, there is no ban on daydreaming. That is number one. Without any homework, Kharge has claimed this is expression of ego. And everybody knows that situation has changed in India in last 10 years. It is now the performance and development oriented politics and voting. And Prime Minister said in Parliament, in Lok Sabha, that his shield and cover is faith of 140 crore people of India. So this is, people want development. What opposition unity, if at all it happens, what it can happen, what there has to be minimum program.
No,
What
but
is the
Javadekar
minimum
Sahab, I'll
program?
tell you what the
can be the
opposition
minimum program?
is trying to do. Now, I take your points.
That is
but
what I'm saying.
No, no.
What-
but if you
what
look at
can be
India's
the-
electoral math, right? 37% of all Indians, right? The seat share of the BJP has been 37%. What the opposition is gunning for is the balance 63%. And therefore, they believe that, look, if we all come together, we'll get there. I think that's...
See, this is not that's mathematics. Mathematics is that Modi's approval rate is increasing in all the states. And more importantly, people want development. As I said, they are aspirational. So it is not 37% and 63%. 63% are not together and they cannot be together. What can be I was just thinking, if Kharge's wish comes true, what can be the minimum program? Minimum program will be corruption, wapas, corruption again, family rule again, and cases of corruption to be withdrawn again.
Okay, Javadekar
So
Sahab, there is
this
nobody
this
over here
can
to
be the
reply to those
minimum program.
allegations. So you put me in a difficult spot. But why don't you answer this, Javadekar Sahab? This is what... this is what...
No. The elections don't work like this. We have a first pass poll system. And in first pass poll system, there are many candidates. And the candidate which gets more vote gets elected. And it's perfect democracy. See, we are a very strong democracy. 70% voting. In Tripura, it was 85% voting. So this is the vibrancy of Indian democracy. And people have changed, made many changes when they are upset on the present government.
Javadekar Sahab,
here
let me
it
ask
is
you
a
another question.
pro-incumbency.
Sir, let me ask...
What we are witnessing is pro-incumbency.
Okay, let me ask you another question. This is again what Mr. Kharge said. Mr. Kharge said that the Prime Minister has several times said, I am the only man who can face the country. No other people can touch me. And Kharge says, no democratic man says this. You are in a democracy. You should remember, you are not an autocrat. You are not a dictator. How would you respond?
But that is what Modi ji has been elected by people and loved by people in a democratic manner. They have given him mandate once, not only twice, and now third time also there is no vacancy.
But sir, why don't we look at the math? Why don't we also look at certain
Math,
states where you are
math,
not
it
in
is
power?
not
Let's
math,
look at
it
states.
is chemistry.
Sir.
In politics,
Let's
in
talk
elections,
specifics.
it is not maths, but the chemistry works. And chemistry is pro-incumbency. People want development.
Sir, that's a headline. Javadekar Sahab, that is a headline. It is not maths that works. It is only chemistry. Is that genuinely your belief, sir? It's the charm of Modi that's going to win the elections.
Yes.
Okay. But then why don't we take a look at some of the states where you've not done well? And these are, of course, assembly results of the more recent elections.
These were the assembly results. See, assembly and...
No, I know they're different. I know they're different. But I'm trying to understand how you intend to counter it.
Differently.
No, but Javadekar Sahab, let me bring up a graphic. Let's talk state by state. Let's look at Rajasthan
I will just
first.
1 minute. Odisha voted the same day in parliament and assembly, and then we got many votes more in parliament election on the same day. So this is how things happen.
BJP has 15% of the seats, right, in Orissa?
Yeah.
And the BJD has 76%.
Yes.
So in fact, that's one of the states that I was going to talk to you about, that it is a big challenge for you. In the past, the BJD and the BJP were quite close.
See, 1 minute. You see the percentage of voting BJP has secured in assembly and on the same day in parliament. So what I am stressing at this point of time is every assembly and parliament elections are different.
Okay. Let's take a look at West Bengal. Again, I take your point about, comparing assembly and the Lok Sabha elections differently. It's not correct. But just if we are to go with these numbers as an example of popularity, the Trinamool has 72% of the seats. The BJP has 26%. Again, going forward, even in the last elections, you didn't do very well in Bengal. Do you expect to seriously reverse this?
No. Last parliament elections, we got 18 seats. And we had only one seat in
Prior to
14.
that.
So we will also not only maintain, but will increase our tally. That's my own assessment.
You will increase your tally over there. One more state, sir. Let's take a look at, let's say, Telangana. Now, you face considerable opposition in Telangana. The BRS now calls itself, an all-India party at this stage. They're avowedly anti-BJP. They're anti-Congress as well. So, how do you intend to make a mark there?
See, Telangana is a ripe state for a change of guards in Telangana state because the assembly elections will be first and then it will be parliament elections. So, we will make the change itself in assembly elections. That you will see.
Okay. Two more states, Delhi and Punjab. The Aam Aadmi Party in power in both of these states. Delhi, you would concede is a problem?
No, because Delhi, last time also they had 67 seats.
Yes.
But we won all the 7 seats in parliament. So Congress is disappearing. That goes to Aam Aadmi Party.
Yes.
But finally, people vote for Modi, for development, for good governance. And that is the case of Delhi also. Is very clear that they won the assembly, but we won all the 7 Lok Sabha seats.
All right. So, Javadekar Saab, the bottom line over here, you spoke about development, you spoke about the other issues, but primarily it is the Prime Minister and what he carries that the BJP will continue to bank on. And as far as you're concerned, that is your MasterCard. With that, the BJP cannot be touched.
See, because he symbolizes good governance. People want good governance. That's the simple thing.
All right. Okay, Javadekar Saab, thanks very much for being with us. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, joining us now to take a look at some of those comments and indeed the electoral math and whether it actually augurs well for the opposition as it tries to come together. Praveen Chakravarti, Chairperson of Data Analytics at the Indian National Congress, Shogato Roy of the Trinamool Congress. We're joined by Sudesh Verma of the BJP and Rajat Sethi as well, who looks very closely at numbers among his many hats. So first, let me go across to Mr. Chakravarti. You know, I've read this article of yours, The Fallacy of Opposition Unity. And yet, Praveen, the point is that that's exactly what the Congress seeks now. That's exactly what Mr. Kharge seeks. So is he misguided or is he incorrect in trying to expect that? Is he expecting too much?
No. I think you're dumping it down way too much in terms of what the article says and what the Congress President, Mr. Kharge, meant. First, I didn't realize the 9 p.m. show, the first half of a 9 p.m. show turned into a propaganda platform for one party. But I just heard Mr. Javadekar rant about...
actually, there are plenty of Congress leaders who don't come on debates either. You won't have Mr. Chidambaram coming in on a debate. Neither will you have, for example, Mr. Shashi Tharoor coming in on a debate. So that's an unfortunate bit that one has to live with, right? So many leaders from your party...
that may be your occupational hazard, but it is
my occupational hazard, but that's not specific to me, to the BJP. It happens to be specific to many parties, including your own. But please go ahead with your point.
Yeah. The first point is Mr. Kharge was talking about a stronger Congress party when he meant that the Congress will lead an alliance in 2024.
Yes.
Certainly, one could argue, is that a prediction? Is that a prognosis? But what he was alluding to was a stronger Congress party, right? What the article says, what my article that you're referring to actually argues, is not opposition unity as a generic idea, the idea that there can be more unity. The article argues that unity, the idea of index of opposition unity cannot just be seen through numbers. In fact, there's a line in that article that says voters are not numbers to be added, but people to be represented. So politics is about representation. It's not about voters being added up together or subtracted together. So I think that was the larger point of the article. Now, as far as opposition unity, and that phrase itself is a little bit vague, but when we talk
The
about
article is called
politics,
The Fallacy of Opposition Unity.
when we talk about alliance politics, I can give you some numbers from 2019. In 2019 election, the Congress party contested among the least number of seats in its electoral history. That means it conceded a lot of seats to its alliance partners. So that is alliance politics. Now, could there be more such opportunities? Sure, there could be more such opportunities. There are many parties that have broken away from the BJP. There are many new partners. So absolutely, there can be. But this idea that opposition unity means there's a certain number to be added is what that article contested. And as I pointed out, in 2019, the Congress party already had a lot of alliance. Now, in terms of national footprint, when we say the Congress party is the natural leader of the alliance, it is in terms of national footprint. The Congress party contested 421 seats in the 2019 election. The next largest party was BSP with 363, but after that is the Trinamool with 62 seats that they contested. I'm not talking about winning.
Sure.
So it is about footprint. So when we talk about leading an alliance, it is about footprint and being able to get on the ballot and actually garner votes.
Okay.
Now, of course, it is the Congress party's responsibility and challenge for 2024 to increase its fighting capability and capacity. And that is a point that is well taken and conceded.
Okay, one sec. Let me go across to Shogota Roy. Shogota, just today in the Northeast, I believe in Meghalaya, you had Rahul Gandhi, being very critical of Mamata Banerjee and the Trinamool Congress. And yet you've got the Congress president talking about opposition unity. How does that work, sir?
It is not the time to finally say anything about opposition unity. We have seen what Rahul Gandhi has said. This has been rebutted by Abhishek Banerjee. We have mentioned that Trinamool Congress is the only party which took the BJP head-on in West Bengal election and gave them a drubbing, where BJP got only 26% seats after all their leaders, Modi, Shah and Nadda and who not, came and campaigned in Bengal, and they spent hundreds of crores of rupees in Bengal. So TMC does not need any certificate from anybody about its fight against the BJP. So when the Congress contested 92 seats in Bengal, did we say that Congress joined hands with BJP? So why are they saying this thing? Trinamool Congress has gone into Meghalaya to build its own base. It is fighting an election on its own.
Shogota, would you be happy with
Rahul
the Congress
Gandhi
leading
mentioned
an
Goa,
alliance in
yes.
2024?
It is too early to say anything about this matter. Alliances have not been discussed in our party or outside. And no other party has discussed alliances with us.
But do you
We
do
are in
accept,
power in
Shogota,
West
that
Bengal,
an
we are the
alliance is
dominant
inevitable
force?
for the opposition? For any fighting chance, you do accept that alliances are natural?
Alliances, I would welcome an alliance of all opposition parties, provided everything else works out. But I think it's too early to comment on the matter, since neither has our party discussed it within itself, nor has any other party given a specific proposal to us. But yes, theoretically, an alliance against BJP would be necessary to defeat the BJP for the good of the country, to preserve the secular values of the country, to save the country from scams like Adani-inspired ones. So that way alliance might be necessity.
Sudesh Verma, do you believe that that there can realistically be a threat to the BJP through an opposition alliance led by the Congress? Do you believe that that can actually be a reality which the BJP might have to confront?
You see, even if it becomes a reality, of which there is not much possibility, you see, because the way Congress has spoken out of turn, it has come a sort of response to what Mr. Nitish Kumar said, isn't it? That opposition should come together against Mr. Modi. So they have said there is going to be Congress-led alliance, isn't it? It's one of the most undemocratic statement ever coming from a party that is trying to lead an alliance of opposition, ragtag opposition. Second issue is, we have always said that it would be good for the country if two alliances contest against each other. People would have easier choice. They would know what ideology one alliance represents, and they would be able to cast their votes. So far as us is concerned, you see, Mr. Prakash Javadekar has already answered most of your questions. But you see, if you try to analyze 2019 Lok Sabha elections, close to 150 seats are there where we won with more than 50% votes. You cannot just statistically present where we did not contest or where we don't have a presence. You add that and bring the numbers down. And our target is at least on 300 seats. We are going to win with more than 50% votes. So it doesn't matter whether the opposition unites or doesn't unite. The way it is going on, the way it criticizes Mamata Banerjee and the Trinamool Congress, it doesn't augur well for an alliance. If that is the nature of alliance they're going to have, that they are going to insult each other and they are going to accuse each other of corruption and then come together because they have to fight Modi, the country will have a clear choice.
Okay. Praveen Chakravarti, one of the key issues, there are two key issues over here. If you talk about opposition unity or a grand alliance, who's going to be the leader and what will the common minimum program be? Let's talk about the common minimum program later. But there is no doubt that Modi secures a lot of the votes of the BJP based on his personality, his charisma, etc., etc. Who is the opposition leader that commands that sort of respect in a country that is obviously charmed by very strong leaders?
I don't think it's a question at all. I mean, I think the answer is quite obvious. The answer is Mr. Rahul Gandhi with is enormously successful Bharat Jodo Yatra, which is just reconfirmed that idea. See, like I said, when we talk about these sort of things, we must first understand that we are almost like Europe and not like America or UK when we talk about politics and elections. It is about footprint. Which party has the largest footprint across the country? Which leader has the largest recall across the country from the opposition, right? Now, of course, in certain states, some regional leader may be more popular. But when we start talking about general elections, we are talking about footprint across the country. So and I think I often find that these sorts of discussions mix the two. Of course, in some states, there could be some in other individuals who could be more popular in that particular state. So when we start talking about a footprint, I think it is only natural that the party with the largest footprint and the leader with the largest national recall will be the natural leaders of the alliance. But that does not...
Rahul Gandhi is the leader with the largest national recall. Praveen, just one point. Rahul Gandhi, you believe, is the leader with the largest national recall?
I said among the opposition, absolutely.
And therefore he should be... And are you confident that the opposition would accept that? Or Mamata Banerjee would accept that?
No, I can't get into conjecture. I'm stating facts. You take any empirical study, any study, the leader in the opposition with the largest recall footprint is Mr. Rahul Gandhi. That's a fact.
Praveen, one quick question. Mr. Kharge may mention that the Congress has been in touch with all opposition parties. Now, we've heard this many times before. Is there anything new or different which has taken place to suggest that this alliance might actually be coming together, that other opposition parties are saying, all right, fine, let it be Congress-led? Are we at that stage as yet?
I'm sure there are such discussions, and I'm sure you would not know that we're not going to be discussing it on national TV in front of all of you.
Well, I had to ask. All right. Rajat Sethi, the key point that Praveen Chakravarti talks about is the footprint of the Congress. The point that he's saying is that obviously that footprint has to translate into votes, but given the footprint of the Congress, they would naturally be in a position to perhaps lead the opposition. Is that footprint strong enough to take on the BJP?
I think more than anything, looking at the opposition parties, do they even pay regards to this footprint? The larger point here is when the rubber hits the road. That's when you see how alliances operate. Tripura just went into election very recently, like 10 days back. Congress was in alliance with the left there, and technically on arithmetic that could have posed a serious challenge to the BJP in that state. Can you imagine none of the Congress leader actually visited the state? Throughout the election, not a single national leader of Congress went there. You know the reason behind it? The reason is that nobody wanted to see themselves close to the left because their de facto leader Rahul Gandhi comes in from Kerala, where they are fighting and are on opposite poles. This is the fact. This is what is 10 days back. I don't know whom they are talking when Kharge comes in and claims that we are speaking to all possible leaders. And Praveen ji is sitting here and he's saying that we don't discuss strategies publicly, but this is a public affair. Election is a public affair. What more can it be? When you have an alliance partner in place and you are not even confident of sharing the same stage with that alliance partner. This is how every alliance that they will forge in the future is going to crack open when the rubber would hit the road. This is the harsh reality. Theory we can discuss ad nauseum, but I have never seen Congress party effectively forging alliances in any of the states over the past 8-9 years or so. Give me one example where they've successfully done that and have come to power, and you see the tamasha that. Look at Maharashtra. They made a whole mockery of that state. We've seen how the daily differences that used to erupt between the top three the Mahavikas Aghadi. Their state president of the Congress party in Maharashtra used to say that it is the NCP who is problem character here and have a backdoor channel of communication with the BJP when they were in the alliance and in the power. This is what is in such an important state in Maharashtra.
All right, one sec, let's get a response. Praveen, would you like to respond to that? The Congress unable to forge alliances.
No, I think this is all some rhetoric that.
Come on, how can
alliances work? Alliances don't work.
Give me an example.
Alliances work. Alliances don't work. This is politics. Now I can go ad nauseum about what happened in Bihar and why the alliance broke, or I can go ad nauseum about how Tamil Nadu and DMK has a strong alliance, or in Kerala. So, I think let's not get into such kind of tutu meme type of thing. Let's keep this civil. The argument that you're asking, the question that you're posing is about, can alliance politics be strong enough to take on the BJP in the next election? And our belief and our categorical answer to that is yes, absolutely. How will those alliances play out? Where will those alliances be? What will be the common agenda? What will be the leadership like? All of those will be discussed, but absolutely no need for me to reveal any of that to a bunch of panelists on a national television show.
You're absolutely certain that, that the opposition will be united. That's the bottom line. That
Absolutely.
The fighting that we see now between the TMC and the Congress will not be replicated at a later stage onto a battle for leadership.
Absolutely. See, let's also look back at the history. I mean, if there is one party with a history of alliances, it's the Congress party. I already gave you numbers to prove that, right? I said that in 2019, we contested the least number of seats. I come from Tamil Nadu. I know how strong an alliance there was. Yes, we may have our daily, we may say a few things here and there during the daily grind of politics. But alliance dharma is something that the Congress party has conceptualized, practiced for decades before a few other parties have started to conjure up this idea.
Sudesh Verma, last comment to you that opposition alliances or alliances are something the Congress has historically been able to forge and they have a track record in that.
Vishnu, the Congress is not able to keep its own flocks together precisely because of the dictatorial attitude of Mr. Rahul Gandhi, who prefers to give biscuits to his dogs rather than talk to his former leader, who is now with us in Chief Minister of Assam. We have seen that the way leaders have walked out, it is because they were not getting proper respect. How can they respect alliance partners?
See, the way,
can I complete, please? Can I complete, please? I did not interfere. You see, the way they have thrown the cart before the horse, that the alliance will work only if the Congress is there. Congress is going to lead the alliance. Congress is going to, form the government. They have already decided. So where is the question of negotiating to the likely partners? Any respectable partner will say that come first discuss whether we are going to be with you. What is the agenda? How you are going to take such a massive task? And who should be the leader? We should discuss, in any democratic way. Not the way you are saying, Mr. Kharge, Congress is going to lead and form the government in 2024. Then the story ends there, isn't it?
All right. Look, this discussion ends over here. I'd like to thank you all very much for joining us. Let's see how far this opposition forming process actually is at. Presently, it seems inevitable that there will be an alliance, but the contours of that alliance, will it truly be Congress-led in the way that Mr. Kharge says? Has progress been made on those talks? That's something that needs to be looked at very, very closely. We'll take a short break. Up after that, onto something completely different. There were headlines yesterday after a young child, just 4 or 5 years old, was killed by street dogs in Hyderabad. There's been another attack today. Fortunately, that child is okay, but with injuries. The question that's being asked is, how do we make our country safe with stray dogs? That's up next. Welcome back to Left, Right and Centre. Next up on the program, a second attack by a dog on a young child in Hyderabad. This one, fortunately, was not fatal, but the death of a 5-year-old yesterday in Hyderabad has stunned people across the nation. This isn't the media driving rage against dogs. There is a problem. It's time people confronted this problem. The issue is there a humane way to deal with this crisis? How does one deal with dangerous dogs? Should they not be taken away? That's what we are looking at. We've got a great panel. Ambika Shukla, Trustee for People for Animal, with us. Meghna Onial, Director and Co-founder of the Humane Foundation for People and Animals. Shaili Singh, Federation of AOA in Noida. And Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, Chairperson of Nephron Clinics. Dr. Singh, how would you respond to those who say that, or in fact, Shaili Singh, let me come to you first. How would you respond to those who say that we need to be humane about dealing with this crisis? Just destroying dogs is not the solution.
See, we see the records. 1960 Prevention of Cruelty to the Animal Act. It was in the 1960. Section 38 again, it defines that animal birth control, there are certain rules. But now if you see these, the data, today's data, around 36% of the entire worldwide, the rabies deaths, approximately 20,000 deaths are being caused in India. And now this is the time when we really need to work on the stray dog menace. And still, what I feel is the sterilization and the vaccination of dogs are really inadequate at this phase. So our government really need to work on this particular segment.
Ambika, sterilization not effective at this stage. 20,000 deaths in India. What does one do?
You have to look at it in perspective. When you say 20,000 deaths, you have to say that it is 0.0014. That's 0.0014%. That is how it needs to be looked at. So, the figures just need to be looked at rightly. Secondly, there is no need for discarding a perfectly good program that has not been implemented well. The program is very sound. The implementation has been less than perfect. So what we need to look at is better implementation of the ABC program, but it actually has all the answers. There are 3 main causes for bites. One is during the mating season when males become excited. Second is after birth when females deliver puppies and they become protective. And finally, it's due to territorial fighting when dogs enter each other's territory. What the ABC program does, the animal birth control program does, there is no mating, so males are not excitable. 2, females don't have puppies, so they don't need to become protective. And finally, since dogs are sterilized and replaced in exactly the same place, there is no territorial fighting. So actually, this is not just contains numbers, but also ensures rabies vaccinations and also ends biting. So it's a very good solution, and it's not just limited to India. This has been proven worldwide. There are so many states now in India where we've implemented it, which has been, Goa is rabies free. Guwahati is rabies free. Jaipur, where the program was initiated, is rabies free. So it's just better implementation, more systematic. The program was actually introduced in 2001.
But Ambika, it's not just rabies,
but even
is it?
till today, it has not been implemented all around India.
Ambika, how would you respond to the parents of
So
that
it
little
needs to be
child who
systematically
was killed
done.
yesterday? How would you respond to...
Yes, it's a truly tragic incident. Yes, it's a truly tragic incident. There's no getting away from that. But on the other hand, Vishnu, what I find very strange is how little effort and time we put into understanding the behavior of species other than our own. For example, everybody drinks milk, but nobody even knows what makes a cow happy. Do you stroke her? Do you hug her? What do you do? With dogs, there are very simple and safe solutions. The first rule that we need to teach everybody is when a dog approaches you, do not run. The dog is not coming with any hostile intent.
This is a 4-year-old Ambika who was attacked by 6 dogs. You expect a 4-year-old
you can teach them. Yes,
to
you
teach
can
a
teach
4-year-old
yes.
who sees
Vishnu,
6 dogs charging at him.
Yeah, let me complete. We teach them not to be afraid of the dark. We teach them traffic rules. We teach them how to cope. How is it that we teach children how to use the computer or the phone or everything? These are animals that share our lives and our world. Simple rules of behavior: do not run. In old India, there was a wonderful saying, "Kutta aaye, aap ped ban jaye." Do not move. The dog will come.
It's easier said than
his
done.
Way of just acquainting
Ambika, just
himself
one
with
second,
you,
Dr. Bagai.
And he will go on.
I'll come back to you.
It is not easier said. It's very easy.
No.
To teach
1 second.
children the right thing.
I'm not. Dr. Bagai,
and
would you agree?
And it can prevent a lot of accidents.
Dr. Bagai, would you agree?
Accidents are prevented by one simple
there is
rule.
behavior that people need to ensure that they practice, including 4- and 5-year-old children, so that it saves them from attacks? Is this realistically possible?
Good evening, everyone.
Yes.
I think right at the offset, I would like to say that my previous panelists' statements and views are very far away from the truth and reality. The real issue is that the elderlies and the children very often cannot manage the menace of stray dogs. This is not rare. In a lot of programs yesterday, just allow me 2 minutes flat and I'll put everything in perspective for you. A lot of people have said that no, it's a rare event. It's not a rare event because most of the dog bites actually go unreported. To lose 20,000 people, which is actually documented data, is still a lot of deaths, which are preventable deaths. I stress preventable deaths. This is an abandoned issue. Of course, the local corporates need to come in with more shelter homes and to keep dogs away. The residents do not have to feed stray dogs. Because they are then going to come and bite the people where they are being fed. And the open halal system, which is the waste
exactly
management
the opposite,
system,
actually.
is all astray.
Feeding makes dogs
the real issue is
Ambika, let him finish. Ambika, let him finish,
so
and then I'll come to you.
Not a part of the problem.
Yeah. Let him finish. Go ahead, Dr. Bagai.
Ma'am, can I please finish?
Okay.
Thank you. What the point I'm trying to make is, at a small child of a 2-year-old or a 1-year-old, as a toddler, especially from a poor class, which are laborers or workers, often have the children right at the construction sites or in other places. It's almost impossible to expect a small child to be trained that when a dog is coming, stand still. The natural instinct of a child is to run. Likewise, for a human being or even an elderly. Let me stress on 3 important points. Stray dogs, which are ferocious and they very often bite, and human beings cannot live in the same milieu. They cannot have the same environment. Therefore, we need to choose safety first. We have a huge amount of laceration wounds which go unreported, internal organ damage and bleeding which goes unreported. And more importantly, more than 30% of the world's rabies deaths happen in India. Rabies is not a funny disease to get. There is a near 100% mortality if it is not treated, and yet if it is treated, you come back with a lot of morbidity and long-term sequelae, including the brain. I want to put this very clear. Stray dogs and human beings cannot be in the same environment. We have to have an implementable program. We have to have people being told not to feed stray dogs. There are a lot of mystical people in a fantasy land to put out food for stray dogs outside the house. And then they have no responsibility for those dogs. This is ridiculous. This is unacceptable to lose a small child or any other human being with something which can be prevented. Over to you, Som.
Meghna, would you like to respond to that?
Yes. First of all, I'd like to say that one death from a dog attack or rabies is one death too many. You can't say there are 1 billion people in this country, so if 20,000 people die, it's a very small number or ratio. That's one. Secondly, I'd like to make the legal point over here. All of our laws and acts under the Indian Constitution that protect animals as well as people require and mandate the humane removal and euthanasia of stray dogs. Even the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act mandates the euthanasia of stray dogs because it recognizes that there is cruelty in homelessness. Either you shelter them, you get them adopted, or you euthanize them. The problem here is all of our laws and acts are on one side, saying that there can be no stray animals. The concept of stray animals is a negative concept. That's why no one has stray animals and cows on the streets, and our laws don't permit it. The problem in this situation is the animal birth control rules, which say that instead of removing stray dogs, we are going to sterilize them and leave them on the road, and then we'll feed them. And then, this fantasy has been created that we'll feed them and we'll all live happily ever after. The problem is, the fact of the matter is that dogs are domesticated companion animals. They cannot live unless they are under 100% human control and supervision. That's why even pet dogs, who are presumably well taken care of, well fed, are not, they don't have cruelty inflicted on them. Why do pet owners have to take their dogs out on a leash? Why doesn't the whole world have free roaming dogs? The idea of free roaming dogs is a lose-lose situation for people as well as animals.
And
our laws.
So, in terms of humanely dealing with this situation, are you saying, bottom line, that beyond a point, dogs which are dangerous need to be euthanized? Then that there is no way around this?
There's no question about it, and not just dogs that are dangerous. I mean, there's no question about that. In the US today, 2 to 3 million dogs and cats, unwanted, ownerless, that can't be adopted, are euthanized. These are healthy animals, not necessarily dangerous, but it's what you do.
Okay, Meghna, half a second.
Or you get them adopted.
Let me get a reply from Ambika. Ambika, the point is clear. You cannot have children, human beings, along with dangerous dogs, and therefore they need to be euthanized.
I think we're completely missing the point. Dogs have earned the title of man's best friend over centuries. We use dogs to lead the blind. How would we not rely on dogs? I mean, to lead a blind person takes absolutely.
We're talking about dangerous dogs. We're not talking about.
They fight with our forces on the front.
No, Ambika, we are only talking about dangerous dogs. I'm sure all of us on this program would like dogs.
No such thing.
We're talking about dangerous dogs.
Let me just tell you, there is no such thing as a dangerous dog. There is an ill-treated dog who will react because of the cruelty he is faced, but there is no such thing as a dangerous dog. You treat dogs well, they treat you back with love, kindness, and loyalty. Nothing else. So it is our behavior that prompts a reaction. Dogs don't act, they react. If you show a dog cruelty,
so you're blaming
he will react in self-defense. You show a dog compassion,
and getting killed.
I am not blaming anybody, ma'am. Please let me complete.
Ambika, go ahead. Ambika, go ahead.
All right. So when you treat dogs well, you will find them to be the most loyal and reliable companions. Why is it, when you talk about feeding, why is it that dogs don't bite feeders? They're also human beings. They're also children who feed. How come they don't bite those children? So I'm saying it's a way of teaching. We have to elect compassion over hatred and intolerance. For 50 years, we were killing dogs in this kind of solution. If you think killing is an answer, for 50 years we were doing it until it was shown that it did not reduce the population by even 1 bit. So killing is never a solution. Dogs were being poisoned, electrocuted, buried alive by the municipality, by the law, until it was shown and proven, and then the courts came down really strongly against this kind of cruelty and completely wanton, unnecessary cruelty that didn't lead to any benefit to anybody.
All right, Ambika, you made your point. Dr. Bagai, would you like to respond?
Ahimsa. And Mahatma Gandhi said, the way a nation treats its animals can be, is
All
the
right.
measure of its civilization and moral progress.
All right.
And I think we need to remember
one sec, Ambika, you made
when
your
we
point.
discuss it so
You
freely,
made your
kill
point
dogs,
effectively.
remove dogs.
Dr.
Yeah,
Bagai,
it's-
how would you reply? How would you respond to that?
Yeah, I think we need to dissociate fantasy emotion from reality. The reality is that a dog bite is extremely
not
painful,
fantasy or
distressing,
emotion.
and often mutilating. And secondly, a consequence of dog bite, be it a bacterial infection or indeed rabies, is so distressing. And we see this in hospitals. It's one of the worst nightmares, not only medically, but for the patient and the family. I've said this again and I'll say it again.
It is
Stray
100%
dogs,
preventable. Rabies is 100% preventable.
And
So
human
you
beings
need to
cannot be
remember
in
that.
the same environment. Feeding stray dogs and not taking responsibility thereafter
can.
is completely madness. I would very strongly advocate that the corporations, local corporations, have sufficient amount of places built up to house these stray dogs. There has to be a public awareness that no one should be feeding stray dogs, and open dalhouse, which we call as waste dumps, have to be got rid of, especially in residential colonies. You cannot have basements of residential colonies or societies having stray dogs being fed. We are calling for problems, and to lose a child who is just a gift of God to be mauled down by a bunch of stray dogs is completely unacceptable, extremely sad.
Look, I'm going to wrap this debate up now. We are completely out of time on this, but we haven't found a solution in several decades. Some solution needs to be found. It needs to be humane, but ultimately lives need to be protected. Perhaps that's something we can all agree on, right? Human
All
lives.
lives.
All lives.
All
But perhaps
lives.
we need to
All lives.
place our own lives
Yes.
as
All lives.
humans first. I think that's the
All
bottom line.
lives. It's not a competition. It's not a competition.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think many would disagree, but I respect that opinion. We'll take a break at this stage. Thanks very much for being with us. Good night.